Alright, welcome to episode 9 of BlazBlue Alter Memory. If you've been watching my videos, please like and comment and subscribe, and without further ado, let's begin with the episode. So the episode begins with Hazma talking to the Imperator, the purple-haired woman from the last episode. He says that the NOL's Praetorian Guard's loyalty was tested and they gave up their souls willingly, cutting to a monolith-like structure. Hazma also claims that the Takamagahara are unable to see both Izoi and the Imperator. Meanwhile, Ragna is still looking for Noel, Makoto and Noel are trying to rendezvous with Sector 7, and Jin heads straight for Ragna. Down in the sewers, Laichi encounters Hazma and prepares to strike. Hazma tells her to look back, and when she does, she sees Arakune, who she rushes to and calls Roy. Hazma says that Arakune is the result of tampering with the Boundary's power, and that he isn't the man he used to be. Hazma then gives Laichi a choice, to change Roy back to the way he originally was. Makoto and Noel arrive to the Praetorian Guards' barracks, with Makoto saying that the NOL branch of Kagatsuchi is a ghost town and that no one is around. Makoto tells Noel that she'll give her some info, but only if Noel promises to get herself to safety, and Noel agrees. Makoto claims that the Kagatsuchi NOL branch was completely empty and that there was a quote-unquote giant altar at the top, connected to the cauldron down below, and she believes that Hazma killed all the guards. Makoto gets into contact with Kokonoe, telling the professor that Noel is with her, and Kokonoe has Tager try to rendezvous with the two women. As they're climbing the stairs to meet up with Tager, Makoto says that there are no records for a Captain Hazma anywhere in the NOL, with Noel mumbling out the name Yuki Terumi. Makoto stops in her tracks, asking where Noel heard that name before, but Noel says it just popped into her head, and that Ragna was yelling that name when he was trying to fight Hazma. Elsewhere, Ragna is annoyed that he can't find Noel, and yells that why he can't fight Terumi before he tries something. Makoto knows that Hazma's persona is a fake, so why is he wielding so much power within the NOL? She guesses that the Imperial order for Tsubaki to kill both Jin and Noel came from him, not the Imperator. Makoto also says that everything is starting to connect. Tsubaki is looking for Jin, Jin is looking for Ragna, and Ragna is heading to the nearest cauldron, placing everyone in one spot. Once she realizes that Tsubaki is in danger, Noel rushes off, but Makoto stops her due to the promise she made to get to safety. Makoto believes that Tsubaki is in a safe zone for now, and that Hazma won't rid of her until his plans are completed, with Noel being offended that Makoto would even say that, being Tsubaki's friend. Makoto says that Noel and Tsubaki are her best friends, and is trying to get him out of this mess. Jin continues in his pursuit of Ragna, traveling through an empty NOL branch, and wonders why he can't draw Yuki-Onasa. He runs into Tsubaki, for the first time since Takamagahara used Phenomena Intervention in episode 6, and she tells him that she joined the Zero Squad, telling Jin his crimes and telling him to relinquish his blade. When Jin refuses, Tsubaki asks why. Jin says that he has someone to find, and that when he lays his eyes upon them, he'll have his answer. Tsubaki resorts to using the Izoi, and the two bow, with Jin unable to draw Yuki-Onasa. Tager arrives to the rendezvous point, but meets Hazma instead, telling Tager that his communications are down because of the Izoi, which I failed to mention because that's been happening for the past couple episodes. Tager and Hazma do battle while Jin and Tsubaki continue theirs. Her eyes begin to hurt as the Izoi begins to steal her light, but Tsubaki tells Jin that she's been doing this for the Imperator, a being of absolute justice, a being of light who condemns all evil and brings peace to the world. Though Jin asks what kind of crime that Ikaruga pulled to make them suffer, since they wouldn't bend to the Imperator's will, and that their homeland was annihilated because of it. Tsubaki simply says that Jin has more blood on him than her, due to him being the very person who won them the war against Ikaruga, but Jin tells her that a lot of soldiers within the NOL were opposed to the war, and were killed by the Zero Squad for it, the order enforced by the Imperator. Tsubaki continues to defend the NOL despite Jin's words on why the NOL is nothing but a hotbed of corruption. She mentions that power is the root of law, and that the use of force is order, which made Jin remember the words of Jubei about the power of order. Now realizing himself as the true arbiter of law and order, Jin's doubts are washed away as he finally draws Yuki-Onasa once again, striking Tsubaki as his power has been greatly increased. Jin tells Tsubaki that the Imperator is an agent of chaos and will imbalance the world. Pushing her limits and not caring if she loses her light, Tsubaki increases the power of the Izoi and heads back onto the offensive. Jin defeats Tsubaki, telling her that she'll die for them, but what has the Imperator done to earn her loyalty, and that the Tsubaki he knew was much smarter than that. A defeated Tsubaki's outfit turns black as well, her eyes turn red, and she begins crying at how she lost both Jin and Noelle. Jin realizes his purpose in this world, and that before, Yukizyansa controlled him, but now that the sword will obey his will, and that his true enemy has been found, his brother. Ragna meets Jubei, who tells him that he doesn't have to win his fight, he just can't die. He tells Ragna that if he dies, he's nothing more than a man who lets revenge take him over and get him killed. Ragna waves him off and says that he isn't some kind of hero, that he's just some guy who's going to destroy a cauldron and kick some ass. Along with Rachel, Valkenheim appears with Jubei saying that the younger generation has to do things themselves. Noelle and Makoto arrive to the rendezvous point to see that Hazma defeated Tager. He turns to see the women and tells Makoto that she did a great job bringing the quote-unquote Mannequin there straight to him. He says that he is going to beat Makoto to a pulp and take Noelle. Back at her location, Tsubaki prepares to kill herself since she's lost everything, but not before the Imperator comes down to her, telling Tsubaki that her life isn't hers to throw away since she exists for the Imperator's will, bringing new light into Tsubaki's eyes. Meanwhile, Ragna finally arrives to the inner well, but encounters Jin instead, ready for the second round of their fight, ending the episode. Alright, now for my overall thoughts of the episode. It wasn't good. It wasn't good, dude. Like, I like the little mystery parts about, oh man, Tsubaki and, I'm sorry, not Tsubaki, Noelle and Makoto running around, wondering why everything's so, like, empty. I mean, they're spending most of their time talking, so that's not really interesting, but yeah, just walking around the Noelle branch just for, like, the entire episode, looking for people, and I'm like, shit, this is boring. So then you get, like, let's see here. You get to the points where, like, Jin is walking and trying to find Ragna. Now, Jin looking for Ragna, you figured he would do something else right now. You know, we all know that Jin was looking for Ragna. He, you know, he quote-unquote finds himself. And, see, Jin's little one, you know, trying to be this quote-unquote true arbiter of law and order shit comes flat out of nowhere. And it makes you feel kind of schizophrenic. It's like, okay, Jin is a complete asshole, and like why does he care now? You know, like it abruptly, I feel like it abruptly comes out of nowhere. I get what they're trying to go for. They're trying to get to that part of the game, but it feels like it comes flat out of nowhere. Like now Jin's like this good guy, knowing that Ragna is not really that much of a bad guy, and now he's just going to go crazy, kill him. Like, this is our hero. So no, that doesn't work. And then, funny enough, it threw me for a little bit first that he met Tsubaki again and why they're talking this whole conversation, but I forgot that I had to mention in the video that the phenomenon intervention was caused by Takemikazuchi back in episode 6. Not Takemikazuchi, my bad. Takamagahara happened in episode 6 is why Tsubaki and Jin met each other for the first time. So it's weird having these characters meet each other multiple times, and it's kind of throwing everything off, honestly. Like, I get it, they've done this before, but ugh. So Tsubaki continues to be the worst part about this, not even the worst part about this adaptation, but one of the worst parts. Tsubaki's actions are just, you know, crazy. You know, like, honestly, they got this whole thing where Tsubaki's, the will of the Imperator. And Jin makes a good point. Why would you be so loyal to someone who doesn't deserve it, you know? But Tsubaki doesn't really give an answer. She actually does not give an answer. All she does is, oh, law and this, law and order that. Tsubaki doesn't really have her backstory to make her reach this point. And even in the main BlazBlue games, they don't give really that much of an emphasis to why the Imperator is absolute way. They kind of just make Tsubaki this loyal, somewhat fanatic person for no reason. At least Tsubaki has some kind of standing in the BlazBlue games, even if it's not much. But in here, she's just completely insane. When Jin asked her a question to why the NOL is corrupt, why would you be loyal to this place knowing that you want to believe in justice, but the NOL is not, you know, all about justice? He even brings up something about Ikaruga. It's like, okay, well, why would Ikaruga have to suffer if they just didn't, you know, if they didn't bend their will to the Imperator? Why was Ikaruga suffering despite them being innocent people? And Tsubaki didn't have an answer for that. She just literally just tried to push it back on Jin to like, well, why are you doing this? Well, you're the one who wants the war in the first place. And it's like a back and forth kind of thing, but it makes Tsubaki seem super crazy. Like, she was like that in the original BlazBlue games, but at least you could somewhat understand why she would act this way. Here you don't. She's just this insanely loyal person for absolutely no reason. There's no reason to why she's super loyal in ultimately. No reason whatsoever. Law and order, justice this, justice that. You know, Jin is in the right for once, despite me not liking Jin much in this episode either. But I would have to give Jin props for being the right one in this situation. He's actually trying to question Tsubaki. He's like, why are you doing all this? What's the point of doing all this? And Tsubaki doesn't have an answer. And she eventually just tries to kill herself. And I'm like, okay, I kind of get it. You know, like they have some dishonor, try to kill yourself because you didn't, fulfill your honor or whatever. I just find it hilarious. And then, like, Jin's all like, well, shoot, the sword won't obey me. And I'm like, see, the thing is, Jin's doubts and stuff really don't make sense in this episode, in the series at all, Jin, goes to fight Ragnar. He gets his ass kicked and ends up in the hospital, right? He breaks out of the hospital, he meets up with Bang, gets his ass kicked by Bang, and it's showing that Jin's doubting himself. Why? Is he not? They didn't really go into elaborate. Why is he doubting himself? Is he not strong enough to fight back anybody? Like, the only thing that really delved on much with Jin is his pursuit of Ragnar, and those two kind of don't clash well with each other because Jin doesn't care. He'll just run to Ragnar and kick his ass. Well, he tried to kick his ass at least, but there was an episode where he met Bang, right? And even so, it doesn't really correlate all that well. It's trying to put Jin on a high platform, but regarding his personality, it doesn't work, Because, like, the moment that Jin meets Ragnar again, there's no, there's no more maturity on his part, Like, he gains the power of order, okay? He gains the power of order. He's stronger now. He's showing his more mature side of Tsubaki, but the moment he sees Ragnar, it goes down to 2. And again, granted, that happens in the main BlazBlue games, but it just seems completely out of nowhere. Like, there's no, nothing to him. Like, now he's like, oh, now I'm the true arbiter of law and order. I'm on the high ground now. And I think it's because of Tsubaki being around that makes Jin look like a better person. And he's not. I feel like it's because of Tsubaki looking as bad as she is, makes Jin seem like he's on the high ground when he really shouldn't be. And that's how I see it. Again, I've been having that feeling about Jin for forever now, but it makes, knowing how Tsubaki is completely insane and in the wrong now, it makes Jin, this person who shouldn't be saying the things he's saying, who shouldn't be acting like he's on the high ground now, look better than Tsubaki, Like, it just makes it seem like that. But other than that, this whole episode was, it was meh. It was not... It was mad, dude. Like, honestly, I honestly couldn't. And there was a bunch of scenes where Ragnar's pissed and punching the wall, and that happened 4 times the entire episode. Because I don't know if it's some kind of weird running gag, but he's just like, damn, I can't find the well. Damn, I'm in the well branch. Damn, I can't find the one. Like, ugh. This episode was a mess, man. Like, it wasn't even a mess in a funny way. It was just a boring mess, though. Like, I don't know, man. Like, you go on, I get they were trying to go for it, trying to, bring up more mystery about, oh, who the hell's Hazma? Who the hell's Terumi? They're trying to go off and find their friends, and, Makoto's hanging out with the well, trying to figure out why the inner well branches are empty. They're hinting towards the monolith, and blah, 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 blah. But there are some parts of this, actually all of the episode is just not right. Just Laichi and Arcana meet, so far in, it doesn't even matter for these two characters anymore, honestly. This is the point where, this is a point in the damn games. Actually, not even the point in the games. This is actually a part they had to throw from Calamity Trigger all the way into the Continuum Shift parts. Laichi meeting Arcana now means nothing. It's just a checklist they had to put off. Oh shit, we forgot that. Better put that there. And then, yeah, I get the whole I think I'm done. This episode wasn't good. It wasn't good. So yeah, that's it. I'm out, everybody. Peace.